Here we are then, back once again with some more F1 2021 and another part of our Immersive Driver Career Mode with Mercedes. Today we've got the Austrian Grand Prix and it always throws up a crazy race, mainly because the AI are stupid in this game and they do not detect people going into the pit lane, so we are almost guaranteed a safety car at some point in this race, so anything could happen. So make sure that you're watching, make sure that you leave a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and let's have a look at how things are going so far this season. You can see at the moment we have got a chassis ultimate upgrade in development. It is going to be ready in the next couple of weeks, so our Mercedes car is getting better and better, and you have to say we are out-developing the field this season. We started as comfortably the best car on the grid, but we've continued to build and develop, and hopefully by Hungary time we'll have that ultimate upgrade in and we'll be close to maxing out this car. If you have a little look at the R&D tree, there's very little to go on now in terms of that, and hopefully we'll be doing that in the coming weeks. Obviously I have no control over the R&D. You can see I'm still on automated R&D. That's why it's an immersive driver career, because a driver really probably wouldn't be the one deciding where all the money goes, but there you go. So that's the R&D for you. The season so far has been fairly consistent, certainly since Portugal. We've scored in every Grand Prix of the season so far. We haven't had any reliability problems, which is good. We're second in the championship, 9 points behind Max Verstappen. We, of course, won in Portugal, second in Canada with the fastest lap, and second in France. We were very, very close in France to pulling off that victory, but just couldn't manage it in the end. And Max Verstappen has now won the last two Grand Prix, so it's Fernando Alonso, ourselves, and Verstappen that have won the races so far. Lewis Hamilton, our teammate, only one appearance on the podium, that third place in Portugal, after, you know, being terrific in season one. You can see how many Grand Prix he won that year, completely dominated the championship, although nearly threw it away to Max Verstappen in the second half of the season. Didn't appear on the podium after Italy, by the looks of that. 2 DNFs, a couple of fourth places, but not anything brilliant. Last season, started off the first half very well again, but again did not appear on the podium in the last 7 races. So Lewis Hamilton, if he's not careful, is gonna be well down in the championship. If he has the same sort of second half of the season as he has done in previous years, then that's what's going to happen. And, you know, maybe he is declining as a driver as he's getting a little bit older. And we're certainly outperforming him in the race at the moment. In qualifying, he's still very, very quick. But that is a disappointing start for the 9-time world champion, because he won season 1 and season 2. So let's see how we get on today in qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix. Just a quick look at what we did last year. What happened last year? We finished 9th last year. I think there was a strategy mishap this time last year. Season 2, we finished... well, we didn't finish, actually. It was a DNF. And back in Season 1, we finished 5th for Alpine. So must have had a good Grand Prix that day. I think we were very, very aggressive as usual. So here we go. Let's see how we get on in qualifying. Well, here we are. We are ready and ready to go. Let's take it on a lap of this Red Bull Ring in Season 4 of our Immersive Driver Career Mode in a almost maxed out Mercedes, so this should be one of the quickest cars possible in the game at this point. A little bit wide into turn 1, but got away with track limits, which is not bad on this track because there's a lot of places you can be caught out here. missing the apex slightly there, maybe a tenth or two to be gained. And this first qualifying session, of course, is all about getting through, but it's about finding our range and making sure that we are in the best possible position to attack, particularly Q3, because I think we've only had one second place so far this season, and we've been relying on our race pace, which has been very, very strong, to get good results. And here we come round the final corner. It's a clean lap, but not the quickest lap as we come up to the line, and it's a 1:04.5. Can certainly do a lot better than that, but it probably should be enough to get through to Q2. But as you can see, already a decent opening to this second lap here.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
Much closer to the apex this time, and you can see you just gain that little bit of momentum. And well, look how much time we're gaining on this straight. It's quite scary, really, how much your exit affects it. And goodness me, we seem to be gaining a lot of time. I wonder if the delta's broke. It does happen in F1 2021 quite a bit. But no, it is a purple sector too, so we must have just absolutely smashed it through there. Goodness me, this is a quick lap. Don't know where this has come from. A little bit wide there. We catch the apex beautifully, and this is a wonderful run up to the line, 1.5 seconds quicker, and that takes us to P4. And that should easily be enough for a position in Q2. Well, we come under the line a third time, another 7/10ths quicker. That puts us 7th at the moment, just behind our teammate Lewis Hamilton, so that's much more like it. A little bit
Some damage to the underbody,
but it shouldn't matter. That should be enough to get through Q2, but we are noticing a big sort of track evolution in this session. 1:02.3 is what we've put in there. It's going to be a 1:01. I think that is going to get pole position today, and Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso are into the 1:01s, so Charles Leclerc very much fastest in this session. Alonso and Verstappen close behind. Vettel 4th in the Aston Martin, Bottas 5th, Hamilton only 6th, we only 8th after Q1. Well, we come up to the line with a 1:02.7 on the medium tyres, trying to get through on the better tyres, but yeah, I think we are going to have to go for the soft tyres. We were struggling in the final sector, I think, because of the dirty air of Vettel. I did try and get a bit of a toe off him. That's what I was hoping would make the difference. We'll see what we can do in the final sector this time. We are purple through the middle sector though. Not this time, because we're just struggling that little bit through there. It is through this final sector that we're just not quite nailing at the moment, and there you go. That's why the AI can have big accidents, because of stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. Gasly on the medium tyre, so he's ahead of us, but I think we can do a lot better. We can get into the 1:01s if we hook up everything absolutely perfectly, but we're just going to have to suck it up and go on the soft tyres, I suppose. Well, here we come up to the line, and it's a 1:02 flat. That's third at the moment on the soft tyres. And that should be more than enough to get us through to Q3. And nice to see that little bit of improvement. But look at Lewis Hamilton. He's actually leading the way on the medium tyres. So that's very interesting that he's managed to find that extra pace. Verstappen only P5.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
Well, there we go. Just squeezing through, actually, in the end. Goodness me, the times are very, very close. Everybody except Lewis Hamilton has set their time on the soft tyres, so that's what we're going to be starting on tomorrow. But look how close it is out there. But Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen looking very, very good. In the 101 5s and 6s. Fernando Alonso and Charles Leclerc will be up there as well. Sergio Perez managing to get P4 there, so Ferrari are looking good. Gasly looking good as always. But wow, that was very, very close to being a disaster. Going out in Q2, Tsunoda, Vettel, Lundgaard, Stroll and George Russell. Q3 is going to have some rain. Well, here we go then. It is wet conditions in Q3. Let's see how we get on in our first pole position run. Got Antonio Giovinazzi, that's just come out in front of us. Really hoping he gets out of the way, and he just about does. Wouldn't say that he made it easy, and that's probably cost us a tenth or two. But I've filled the car with fuel, so we're expecting to stay out here and watch the conditions get slightly better as cars go over it. There might be an outside chance of slick weather conditions right at the end of the session, but we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. But we're starting to get these tyres into the groove. And we know that early on we're not going to probably be setting the fastest times, but we're going to get used to these conditions, build our confidence, build our range, because that's what we've done in the past. And we go up to the line here, and what's it going to be? It's a 1:10.5, which is pretty competitive, to be honest with you. And that's the fastest Sector 3 of the lot so far. We go a little bit wide in Turn 1, but just drop off the throttle to show that we haven't gained an advantage, and you can see that we actually have a bit of a slower Sector 1 than our previous run through there. Let's start to Sector 2. Not brilliant, and maybe the rain coming down a little bit, is it making track conditions worse? Who knows? But certainly we feel a little bit less confident on this lap than last lap, I would say. But this is where a couple of tenths could be made up, or a couple of tenths could very much be lost.
You've fallen down the order. You're now in P7.
There you go. It does come to us a little bit in this final sector as we come round the final corner, and that's pretty much nailed. We've almost done an identical lap time, but that is a purple Sector 3. So we need to nail this first corner more than anything else. That's where we're losing our time at the moment, is in these first couple of sectors. So a little bit earlier on the brakes, I think, this time. And there you go, a little bit of a lock-up, unfortunately, and that's going to mean that we're not going to make it this lap, unfortunately. But that's a pretty good corner. We've somehow managed to make up a lot of time there. A little bit of curb there, a little bit of risk, but it's not going to come to us. I don't think it's going to be almost identical to the first two laps, unfortunately. A little bit wide there. So here we come up to the line. A little bit riskier. That would have gained us a tenth there. Well, we lose this lap time as well, so just need to be a little bit more careful here. Well, here we come up to the line. This is a fantastic lap. 6.7 seconds quicker. 6 tenths quicker, I should say. And there you go. That is pole position at the moment. And because we're out there, we're just pumping in laps. increasing our confidence. That's what is getting us this
These
extra
conditions don't
time.
look like they're shifting. We're predicting at least 20 minutes of heavy rainfall.
You can see already 2.5 tenths to the good in this lap as well. Nearly 3.5 tenths there, but with a little bit of oversteer. Just caught us out. I think the delta's broke, to be honest with you.
Okay,
So
take you this lap.
we're going to come into the pits this lap. And get ourselves a fresh set of boots and go once again, but with no fuel in the car. Here we go then. Final man over the line to start our lap in Q3. And our final chance of any improvement towards pole position. We got no fuel in the car. Brand new set of boots. That'll work out nicely. Goodness me, half a second up through that corner. People are coming over the line. Nobody improving as yet. But we are out there, and this is a huge lap time if we manage to pull it off. Hamilton goes P2. So our title rival Max Verstappen hasn't managed it. I don't think anybody's managed it. We're the only person out there that can improve. We're the only person on a lap. We have absolutely smashed it. What a wonderful lap this is as we come up to the line. It's a 1:09.7, the fastest lap of the session.
We're really pleased.
And we are on pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix. And okay, we're not on the best strategy, we're not on the medium tyres, but we get our first pole position of the year.
The captain, Hamilton, and Lando Norris. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Well, there you go. We did only improve by a tenth of a second in the end, so the delta was actually broken, but we managed to just about do it. You can see we were about half a tenth quicker in every sector, and that's what made the difference in the end. Lewis Hamilton got very, very close with his lap time, but it wasn't quite enough to take pole position. Lando Norris, P3 for McLaren, excellent result for him. Charles Leclerc 4th, Verstappen only 5th, Alonso only in 6th. But it's great to see Lewis Hamilton back on the front row. And it's a Mercedes lockout. Let's see how we get on in the race tomorrow.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve, as it was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. The captain lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Fernando Alonso. Gasly, Perez. Giovinazzi and Yuki Tsunoda. Vettel, Lundgaard. Lance Stroll and Russell. Ocon, Joe. Nicholas Latifi and Valtteri Bottas. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Well, we are ready and raring to go here. This is going to be a quite unbelievable Grand Prix, I think. It's going to be a tricky race start, but Lewis Hamilton is on the medium tyres, so in theory, we should be in a good position to beat him off the line.
Okay, go through all the gears.
And, you know, we certainly seem to get off to a good start there.
We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool, though, so don't go too high with the revs.
So we need to get these tyres nice and warm. But it's been a while since we started on pole position. We obviously have done it a few times in this career mode, but not this season so far. And it's because of the wet weather that we managed it. I'm not sure we'd have done it in dries. We might have been top 4. I think we were capable of that, but pole position was probably a little bit out of reach. But given how good our race pace has been this season, you'd say that we are very much favourites for this Grand Prix. But we know that Lewis Hamilton's tyres are going to last longer than us. He is going to come into his own in the sort of middle of this first stint. So we're going to make sure that the overtake button is on. I have switched the buttons around a little bit, so let's not make a mistake of downshifting rather than putting our overtake button on. And well, look at Max Verstappen, goodness me. He's very keen to get the grid from 5th position. But we seem to get our tyres nice and hot there. And of course, with Lewis Hamilton on those mediums, he's going to probably struggle to get off the line. It's probably worth a couple of tenths of a second as we head up towards turn 1. It is one of the shorter runs. It's uphill as well. But it's certainly a nervy one. Here we go for the Austrian Grand Prix.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Lights out, away we go here in Austria. It's a good start off the grid. Lewis Hamilton off to a better start though on those medium tyres. And he does lead out of turn 1. We managed to keep it clean in the first corner, and there is an incident that has happened. And Charles Leclerc will be having a look at us as well into turn 3 here. We just need to give him the room. But Lewis Hamilton has got the lead of the Grand Prix. There's more yellow flags behind. Not entirely sure what's gone on there, but Lewis Hamilton, the perfect start for him. A man that hasn't been on the top step of the podium for a long time. And he'll be looking to get those 25 points today and get his championship up and running. But we've got to try and use these soft tyres. We know we've got Charlie Leclerc behind us, who's been very racy. But we've got to hope that our race pace is going to be good enough. Lewis Hamilton leads the Austrian Grand Prix after lap 1. Charles Leclerc behind us in second. And we're having a bit of a Valtteri Bottas-esque start to this Grand Prix as we're just struggling to get going a little bit. Charles Leclerc leaving us the room. Trying to go around the outside. That wasn't really going to be an option for him. Max Verstappen is well back into the race as well, so it's not gone well for us at the start of this Grand Prix.
DRS is being enabled this lap.
Well, there goes Charles Leclerc. He's having a look down the inside. of turn 1. We managed to somehow squeeze the DRS out of him there, but Lewis Hamilton is running away with this Grand Prix. There are yellow flags. Not entirely sure what's going on, but there has been plenty of incidents at the start of this Grand Prix. Verstappen now up to 3rd. And maybe it was Charles Leclerc. I don't think we had an incident with him. But Perez is out of the Grand Prix.
They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Is there going to be any sort of safety car? Don't think so.
To the car behind.
Well, there goes Max Verstappen. Forcing us wide at turn 1, but we managed to get back past him. And I don't think we're in the running for the race victory today. I think Lewis Hamilton has got it in the bag. Unfortunately, our race pace just isn't there at the moment. Well, you join me on lap 8 as we are finally about to come into the pits. We managed to get the gap down to about 2.5 seconds with Lewis Hamilton, so we're in a good position. We're going to put on some new tyres. We're going to try and get a bit of an undercut. And unfortunately, we were held for a second or two there. And look at Lando Norris. He is right behind us now as we are released back into the wild.
No more scheduled pit stops.
We ran that pretty close, but Lando Norris is going to be right behind us here. He's going to have a good little chance. Going into turn 4 as we're both on cold tyres. We managed to just block him out, really. And now we've got some good clear air to push hard on these medium tyres. Get ourselves going here. Lewis Hamilton in the pit lane, so he's
Lewis is in the pits.
covering the potential undercut, and you can see a purple middle sector, so we are flying, but I don't think we're going to make 2.5 seconds up. And here we come. We are coming past the pit lane now.
6.2 seconds. Drop your speed
And there's Valtteri Bottas out of the session.
Slow your pace immediately.
And it is a safety car, so I'm not sure what's happened to Valtteri Bottas. It's probably going to be a pit lane issue. But what this does is help whoever's out in the lead at the moment. That Aston Martin is going to come in and be in a great position. What it does do is allow us to close up the gap to Lewis Hamilton and just ease these tyres in. They're brand new on the car, so we ease them in. And Guan Yu Zhou does come into the pits on this lap, so it is going to be Lewis Hamilton leading the way. We're going to be in second again. Pardon me. And we have had a couple of big retirements in Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez today. Max Verstappen in 3rd place, so he's managed to come out just behind us. You can see Lewis Hamilton is on the soft tyres. He's going to be in a great position, but because he came in the lap after us, you know, he's going to have to take them a little bit longer than he'd probably like to. And certainly towards the back end of the stint, we could be coming back at him with fresher tyres. But he's got to use these soft tyres early on. He's got to use the pace of them. But it is all going to be about whether we can stay with him, stay in his DRS zone. And how long is this safety car going to stay out there? It's at least one more lap. So I'll see you guys when we are ready to get underway once again. Well, where is Max Verstappen? I've just noticed Max is at the back of the queue, so I don't know whether he picked up a bit of damage on that lap. But he's right at the back of the queue. Lando Norris is the car behind us.
Safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember, there is no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position.
Get going again here. This is going to be a big moment. Lewis Hamilton regulating the pace. When's he gonna bolt? That's the question. We got a overtake button on, ready for it. And here he goes. He is underway, and we've gone wide, and that's a very disappointing restart for us because we noticed exactly when he went for it. We just didn't stay on the back of him. We've got to stay within a second. That's the thing now, but we are back underway here in Austria. And we got to stay with Lewis Hamilton, but he's already out of the second window, and here comes Lando Norris, troubling us for second position. We managed to stay in front, and that's what cost us the first time round. Was the fact we had to battle for our position and Lewis was allowed to run out in front. But there you go. That's the end of lap one, and we're already half a second out of the DRS window, so it's probably going to be second or bust here.
Race.
Well, final lap of the race, and you can see we've managed to pull away from Giovinazzi, who's in third, so our pace is very, very good. But because of the difference in compound, Lewis Hamilton has managed to stay ahead of us. We did manage to bring it down to about 2.2 at one stage, but we have just had a lap where we damaged the underbody slightly, and that will affect a little bit of the grip of the car through the corners. But it is going to be second today, and it's part of staying consistent. It's going to be our fourth consecutive second place finish, but Lewis Hamilton is going to be back in the winner's enclosure. We were saying at the start of the episode, it's been a long time since he's been there, but Lewis Hamilton wins the Austrian Grand Prix. We come through in second place, and it's a Mercedes 1-2 for the first time this season, and that will be enough to take us to the lead of the drivers' standings. Driver of the day is Antonio Giovinazzi, who finishes third. Norris finishes in fourth.
Fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. The captain takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Definitely Antonio Giovinazzi, isn't it? No matter what the rest of the field threw at him, he didn't put a foot wrong. Superb drive from him.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, Lewis Hamilton, the winner today, big winner for him. Max Verstappen did its best to get back into this, but only finishes 12th. Fernando Alonso finishes 11th, meaning that we are going to take over the lead of the drivers' standings. Lewis Hamilton wins. We finished 2nd, Giovinazzi in 3rd, and you can see by our fastest lap time, we were just much quicker than the guys around us, but we couldn't compete with Lewis Hamilton's greatness today. Gasly finishes 5th with Tsunoda 6th. Excellent day for AlphaTauri. Leclerc finishes 7th. Good weekend for him. Vettel 8th, Lundgaard 9th, and Lance Stroll in 10th, meaning that for the driver's standings, we are now 9 points ahead of Max Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton is very much back in the fight. 13 points behind us in 3rd. Fernando Alonso struggling recently. He's down to 4th now after winning the first 2 races of the season and only scoring 14 points since then. Valtteri Bottas is in 5th. 28 points behind Lando Norris, Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc can't be counted out of this year's championship just yet. Into the constructors, and we take over the lead of the constructors' standings. Red Bull now 24 points behind, and now that we're on top, maybe we can take it to the next level. Alpine finishing in, or currently in 3rd, ahead of Ferrari and McLaren in 4th, 5th, and AlphaTauri, a brilliant 6th at the moment. Aston Martin up to 7th, but seem to be in a 4-way fight with Williams, Alfa Romeo and Haas for those final positions. So that is where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, leave a big like down below. Subscribe for plenty more F1 content, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.